Hello, good day and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Guru Mafinda, aka Tony. Now I need to get some alliums out onto the plots, and I also need to get some Bunyard's Exhibition broad beans, or FAVA beans, if you're from elsewhere in the world. FAVA beans with a nice Chianti. Unfortunately, we haven't got any Chianti today, but we have got plenty of FAVA beans. I think we've got 15 plants and they need to go out onto the beds, as well as 60 onions. So I need to make some space. Okay. All right, so there we have them. Well, the onions, we've got 48 of the red onions and we've got 24. I believe it's 24. 12 in each tray of the white onions, which are the Centurion. We've also got these, and these are all bouncing along. There's plenty to go out at the moment. All these peas need doing this weekend probably. But yeah, fava beans, massively popular in the sort of Middle East and the Egyptian, North African area. Broad beans. They use them in everything. I was watching a programme last night by a guy who does these sort of travelling cooking shows, and they eat nothing but that. Lots of protein in it. Anyway, I've got this here marked for the fava beans, and I've got this one, this 6 foot by 4 foot bed, earmarked for the onions. So I'm going to get 60 in there, maybe even more, because what I was thinking about doing is taking these, because these have to come out of here. So I might get another couple of those. I've got a couple of spaces there in this bed for the overwintered onions. They're all coming through again now. So I'm going to have to uproot those and stick them into the 2 gaps there, and maybe use the remaining ones in that bed as well. Really, planting them like this, they're about 6, 7, 8 inches apart. They don't have to be. You can get them as close as sort of 3 or 4 inches apart. You just get slightly smaller onions, but you do get a full bed. So I think that might be the plan. I'm just putting these planters in at the side of the lady farmer's greenhouse there, side and front rather of the lady farmer's greenhouse. Now I've got all this compost here, I've got tons of it that I've been collecting, a bag or 2 each month, and so one of those big 75 litre bags has filled that up to practically the brim, and I've got one over there as well, so I'm going to be putting the soil in there as well, the compost in there, and that is going to be the home for all these flowers that we've got. They were only put in here temporarily because they didn't have a home, but now they have a home. I've created a home for them, so there's some flowers there. I don't even know what sort they are. I'm crap with flowers. A couple of flower plants there. So yeah, that's what we're going to be. I'm spinning you around. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I need to make space for all the broad beans. There's 15 broad bean plants that I need to put in there, so I'm going to be putting them in rows of 5, 5, 5, 5, and cordoning them off. Sorry, 5, 5, 5, and cordoning them off. Okay. Well, it looks like the Slug fort worked. That's not looking too good on the end there, but these two are healthy enough. Yeah. So the top tray was the watering tray, and that stood on 3 Asda cut flower buckets, half filled with sand for stability. And then underneath we've got the salt. We had salty water in there to stop the slugs getting in, and they never got a sniff of my kale. Yippee! That's going to be harvested today. I'm going to harvest that. Hello again. Now, plants like to be fed in the same way that we like to be fed, but only slightly different. We all need a bit of food, and so NPK is the standard, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Potassium's got the K, funnily enough. But there we go. So NPK is what we're going to be using in the form of a good balanced fertiliser, which I haven't been able to get my hands on for about a month, but now I have, called blood, fish and bone. There it is, blood, fish and bone meal. That. Got calcium in it as well from the bone meal, so you've got the potassium, the nitrogen and the phosphorus, and also calcium. Good for the roots, good for good healthy plants. We're going to apply on here a fair old sprinkling of it. All I've done with this bed is I've moved the flowers that were in there, shifted them, and de-weeded it. There's plenty of horsetail and bindweed rhizomes in here, but we'll deal with those as they pop up. All I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it in a little bit and get it below ground level, just integrate it a bit. The rainwater will wash it down to the roots, and obviously if we don't get the rain, oh look at that, Mr. Pogrom, hasn't he? Mr. the Pogrom. Obviously we don't get any rain. I'm going to be watering them anyway, but this being England, northwest England especially, we don't tend to have too many dry spells. We don't have a drought generally over here, unless it's a really mild one. So yeah, I'm going to integrate that into the earth. So this is the variety Bunyard's Exhibition. Superb flavour and freezes well. We've had them before, they are nice. I'm the only one in our house that likes them, so I tend to have the lion's share of these. But yeah, good. Heavy yields of long beans. They grow to about 14 inches, some of these. Oh, they did last year. And they had about 8 or 9 beans in each pod, if you like. You tend to get about 30 or 40 from each plant, and I've got, because I miscalculated, I've got 20 plants. I thought I only had 15, but I've got 20. So if you say 20 times 30, that's 600 pods, is it? And in each pod, on average, well, even if you say 5, then that's going to be 3,000 beans you're going to get from them, potentially. I've got them shallots there as well. I'm going to put those out as well today. But they were both started on the 18th of the 2nd, 23. Okay, so that's 2 months ago. Is it 2 months ago? I didn't think it was that long. No, it's not 2 months, is it? We're only at the start of April. 6 weeks ago, we'll call it. So we started these around 6 weeks ago. Okay, so I've made 20 holes in the bed for the plants to go in. As you can see, the plants are really well rooted at the moment. I've got plenty of root mass coming on them, so that'll spread underground. They're around about 6 or 7 inches apart, which is a little bit closely spaced, but they should be fine. I'm going to cordon them using these road spikes. So once I've planted them in, these road spikes are going to be going in. You see them on building sites, don't you? Usually with red and white tape wrapped around them. But yeah, you can pick them up from here and there. I think I actually bought them for a job I was doing at our house. But they can be used on here, I'll show you at the end. So we'll get them all in. And there they are, all in. So it's 4 rows of 5 of the broad beans. I've actually got 2 left over there as well, but I'm going to leave them in there. So I'm going to be planting those tomorrow, those 2 more broad beans. I'll find somewhere for them, as well as the shallots. Fingers crossed for the shallots. They should turn into 6 each, so that would make 30 shallots. Well, that's a story for another time. Well, there you go, and there's the cordon on them. Or it will be when I get some wire to put around it. And that's just as they grow. If I put the sort of fencing around this, just the wire fencing, so one at the top, one at the middle, and one down below. One at the top, one in the middle, and one down below maybe. Get 3 lines running across all around, and that pens them in. because they will grow to about that height, to about 4 feet tall, these. So we want them not to be flopping over, to be supporting each other, but also penned in, so that when the winds get to them, they're not going to be flopping over and snapping the stems. That's the whole idea with the cordoning. Okay, job's a good one. Okie dokie. So that's probably me for today. We're going to be watching Shazam at the cinema this afternoon with Daryl and his kids. Looking forward to that. It's the second Shazam. I like Shazam. Well, we all do, especially the kids. Right, if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. This has been Guru Mafinda. A shivery Guru Mafinda today. Bit cold today. But take care of yourselves and each other, and keep doing that. All right, we love you all. Bye bye. Ta-da now.